Hello, I'm Anna. Welcome to Unite's guide to using online video communication. In this video, we're going to look at the online video conferencing software Zoom. Zoom can be useful for one-to-ones with union members and other colleagues, for rep and team meetings, for training sessions, or even for conferences of up to 10,000 people. This video will demonstrate how to join a meeting on Zoom and also how to host a meeting on Zoom. Before you start Zoom, make sure that you check out our guide Setting Up Video and also our guide to online meeting etiquette. Firstly, joining a meeting on Zoom is very simple. You'll either be sent a link by the person hosting the meeting or you'll be given a meeting ID to join. Clicking the link will send you to the Zoom page. Alternatively, go to zoom.us, click Join Meeting and enter the meeting ID and password. If you haven't run Zoom before, you'll need to install the browser extension. To do this, click Download and run Zoom. Once it's installed, you can click here or hit Open Zoom Meetings on the pop-up window. The first option to appear when joining the meeting is the Join Audio pop-up window. Here you can test your speakers and microphones if this is your first time joining a meeting, that is. It's a good idea to do a quick test to ensure your equipment is working properly. Once you're happy it's working, you can click Join with Computer Audio. There are a few useful options to be aware of. In the lower left corner, you can hit Mute. This will turn off your microphone and is useful for meetings where you do not need to talk or when another is speaking. In some meetings, the host might even have everyone muted. Next to that is the Stop Video button. If you have a slow internet connection, hitting this option will increase the quality of the call. There are also other video options available, such as adding virtual backgrounds. The next option that is useful is the chat function. This allows you to message the group or specific individuals during the meeting. This is especially useful in large meetings and can reduce interruptions. Chat can also be useful for sharing files to the group, although in many cases this feature will not be enabled, especially in larger meetings. The final option is the Leave Meeting option. This will disconnect you from the meeting. Now that you know how to join a meeting, you can stay on for the next few minutes to find out more about how to host a meeting. The first thing you will need to do when hosting a meeting is to set up an account with Zoom. To do this, click on the Sign Up button and enter your work union email address. You can also sign up using Google or Facebook, but it's best to keep your personal accounts separate from your work accounts. You will now be on your Zoom dashboard. There are several options here, but we're going to keep to the basics. The first thing you'll want to do is schedule a meeting. This will open up a new page where you can enter all your meeting details. Add a concise title so you know what the meeting is about. The description is optional, but if there is any important information you want participants to be aware of, it's good to add it here. Next, you'll want to put in the time and duration of the meeting. When setting up a meeting, you should not use your own personal ID. You should have a unique meeting ID for each meeting. This helps to prevent unwelcome guests from joining. You can also set up a meeting to be reoccurring. This can be useful and save time in the long run when setting daily, weekly, or even monthly meetings. The next important thing to do is to set the meeting's password. Zoom will automatically generate a password, but you can also set one that is easier for you to remember. You can choose if you want the host or participants to have their own video turned on or off when joining the meeting. It's best to have these turned on by default. There is also another option for allowing people to join the meeting before the host arrives. It's best to keep this turned off, as the host is then responsible for structuring the meeting. You can also enable the waiting room. This is basically a way of allowing the host to decide who can or can't join the meeting. The last option is whether the meeting will be recorded or not. If you're going to record, you will need to request the permission of attendees. Generally, it's better not to record as a rule. Better to stick with recording the minutes of the meeting in the usual way. Once you're happy with all the details, you can hit Save. Your meeting will now be added to your schedule window. At this point, it's suggested that you copy the invite link and send it to all the people you want to participate in the meeting. This is usually best done via an official email or whatever other secure messaging tools you use. You should never share the meeting link on a public space. Now, when you go to your profile, you'll see an overview of all of your scheduled meetings. When it's time for your meeting, go to the Meeting Overview window and hit Start. If you haven't run a Zoom meeting before, you may need to install the browser extension. To do this, click Download and run Zoom. Once it's installed, you can click here or hit Open Zoom Meetings on the pop-up window. Your meeting has now been created. The first option to appear, as with joining a meeting, is the Join Audio pop-up window. Here you can test your speakers and microphone or join by clicking Join with Computer Audio. Once all the attendees are in the meeting, you can select Lock Meeting in the Participants panel. This will secure the meeting from others joining. There are several options available to the host which are not available to regular participants. For example, the host can mute or unmute all participants. For large meetings, it's suggested to mute all participants, so everyone is not talking at once. You can hover over people and select Unmute when it's their turn to speak. Don't forget to mute them again afterward. Whilst in this window, you can also select if you would like to assign co-hosts for the meeting. This is useful when chairing large meetings to help spread the hosting tasks. The chat functionality has a few additional options for the host. This can be set so that no one can chat or that only the host can chat. Another useful feature is the Share Screen option. This is useful if you'd like to share a presentation or show a video. It's good to have these open already so you don't need to search for them during the meeting. Clicking this button will give you the option of which window you'd like to share. Be aware of any private or confidential content you may have on your screen. Once you're finished with your meeting, you can hit End Meeting. This will give you the option to simply leave the meeting yourself or end the meeting for everyone. There is also another option for creating meetings on an ad hoc basis, basically to happen straight away. You do this by simply hitting Host Meeting at the top right of the home screen. Click on the option you'd like to use and a new window will launch with your meeting. With an ad hoc meeting, you'll invite participants to join the meeting in real time immediately. To do this, simply hit Participants when you've launched the meeting and then you can click Invite. This will give the option to send participants the link to the meeting. If you click Copy Invitation, this will save the meeting link to your clipboard along with the meeting ID and meeting password, which you can then distribute via the appropriate safe messaging tools such as email or WhatsApp. Hopefully this short video has given you some insight into how to use Zoom in your union communications workflow. Whilst the first time you use Zoom can be a little daunting, you should get the hang of it in no time.